everybody. Welcome as you're joining. We're just gonna let people filter in for a couple minutes. Rachel from our team, for our Flowly Heroes who are returning, you'll recognize Rachel, you'll recognize me, but we'll be on the chat welcoming you. Would love to hear where you're coming in from today, what led you here, and then we'll kind of get started. Before we get started, I also wanted to, as everybody is getting comfortable, remind everybody it would be awesome if you had a piece of paper, and if you have watercolor, that's awesome. If you don't have watercolor, you can use like crayons, color pens, anything. Just make sure you have like a few different colors that you can play with, because it's going to be super interactive today. It's going to be really, really fun. So I just want to make sure you're all set up. So remember that piece of paper, maybe a couple watercolor, or like a couple different colors of pens and pencils that you can play with. And then actually, as people are coming, Rachel's going to send in a number to the Zoom chat, and I'm also going to say it out loud here because along the way, we're going to have you basically take photos of your progress, because we're in a webinar format. Originally, we had kind of wanted everybody's video on, we can interact, but just because of the way we're set up, let's do it so you'll share like whatever you're comfortable sharing of the artwork that you're working on. And then if you text that image to us, you can literally just take it on your phone. I will go ahead and would love to share with everybody in the webinar today what you're working on and what you're doing throughout this workshop. Oh, I see a lot of people filtering in right now. Okay, one more time. If you're just joining us, make sure you have a piece of pen, a few colored pens and pencils, or if you have watercolor, awesome, but you definitely don't need it. And we're gonna get started soon. Awesome.
Can I jump in? And
yes.
I kind of want to know how many people have watercolor, and so what kind of colors you're bringing with you: watercolor, crayons, markers. So if you can type in so I kind of get a sense.
So we'll keep that chat open and send in kind of like what materials you're working with today. Again, it's going to be super interactive today. I know sometimes people are reluctant or a little hesitant to like interact, but trust me, the more engaged we are with this, it's going to be more fun, because it's just like literally we're going to do art together. So it'll be really fun to see everybody's progress. Awesome. So, ooh, I see so many people. Some people are saying
oil pastel.
Oil pastel, colored pencils, watercolors. We have a range. Awesome. Pens, pencil, markers of all sorts. Okay, cool. Okay. Ooh, we have someone joining from Quebec. Yes. Welcome. Working with acrylics. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to introduce our host today, Jenny. I'm just here to co-host and kind of like guide the way, but I'm really excited to introduce Jenny for some of our new heroes who may not in our Flowly community yet, that don't know Jenny, but Jenny is a Flowly health and life coach. Jenny S. Huang is a fellow member of the Institute of Coaching at McLean, affiliate of Harvard Medical School. She's a life coach, a multimedia artist who basically explores this really interesting intersection of psychology, art, and education. Jenny was also the co-founder of Longevitech Anti-Aging, as well as the co-founder of NanoCure Technology, so coming from that biotech background, and has also studied neuroscience and health policy at Mount Holyoke, UCLA, Columbia, and more. Jenny is also a former dancer and trained culinary artist. So we love to bring all these different intersections to our work together. Awesome. So, oh, Jenny, I just want to let you know your presentation is not in present mode.
Yeah, it's fine. I just want to show a couple of photos, simple photos.
Okay, great.
I will be turning that off. So,
all right. So without further ado, I'm going to unspotlight myself, but I will be here with you all doing the same thing. But I'm going to let Jenny take over.
Thank you, Celine. So I'm really excited to do this. You're going to have to bear with me because usually I do this really interactive where I can see everybody and see your workspace and what you're using. So this will be new for me, for you, probably some of you. So really excited. The reason why, so art is really important to me. As Celine had introduced, I work with, I do acrylics, oil, watercolor. I work with glass and metal. So I actually started with glass. So I love working with fire and, you know, melting how the fluidity of melted glass. So this is also why I had initiated doing watercolor, because watercolor is also very fluid. And and I find it very challenging. On the other hand, it's also very soothing, because you learn more awareness, you learn to go with its fluidity. And just like I like to say that you kind of just, if you can just watch it spread. However, today, if you don't have watercolor, we're going to do multimedia today. So, and so art and psychology. Why? I kind of want to talk a little bit about that, because you know, cognition does not just happen in our heads. So what we shouldn't do is keep our thoughts inside our heads, inert, unchanged. So our thinking, our cognition actually goes beyond our head, and it goes to our body. A lot of our sensories, our senses, our perception are outside of our awareness. This is also why it goes into the physicalities and the play elements of our experiences, and how that ties into our emotions. There's just so much science behind this. So research estimates that 80 to 85% of our perception, learning, cognition, and activities are mediated through vision, for one. So vision. So now in art, in what we're going to do today, it's our vision, our play, our hands, our motor system. So we're engaging everything, and that will also tie in with how it will set the stage for us to increase our resilience for the stressors in our lives, and pain and all that. So, and before we begin, I do want to share with you, just to give you some ideas of some of the work that some of my clients have done. This is watercolor with Sharpie over it. This and if you can see my arrow, there are words here, and these are words of emotions that they've incorporated before and after their artwork. Here's another one, and here's another one. So this is what we're going to do, is we're going to try to capture our emotions and explore our emotions via color, and then we're going to do some patterns to make it beautiful and expressive, and to express our emotions via that. At that point, we'll be using, if you have Sharpie pens, micron pens, over your artwork, your base color. So showing you some more examples. Okay, and then I will stop sharing now my videos, my photos. And so, okay, so before we begin, let's see, I just want to make sure I'm getting, if people have questions. So before we start, I always like to start with the one word that reflects how you feel right now. Don't think, just real response, real kind of what's on top of your mind right now, the one word that reflects your emotions. And I would like you to write that down on so my setup here is a piece of paper which I've taped down, and you can do the same. And I've put another piece of paper on it that you will be, and you can just have one piece. You don't need to have the two piece. But the reason why is right now, for example, I'm going to put down that one word on a piece of paper, and I'm going to write it here, and you can write it anywhere. So I'm writing down my emotions, which is excited. That's my one word. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to text and let me know, let us know. So that is our one word to start. And then I would like everyone to, before we pick up our brushes or our pens or crayons, is to just kind of find a relaxing spot on your chair. And I want you to just close your eyes and just notice your breath, whether it is quick, slow, how you feel, where your tension may be, or where you're feeling relaxed. Just kind of find that spot. And then we're going to start our breathing exercise and engaging our diaphragm. We're just going to do the natural breath in, breath out really slowly. And let's start. I'm going to count. Breath in, engaging your diaphragm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want you to just take a moment to do that kind of natural but slow breathing, and all the while check in with how you're feeling, your heartbeat, or your tension maybe, where you're more relaxed, less relaxed. And just to keep breathing and make sure to engage your diaphragm and close your mouth and breathe through your nose. So I just want you to kind of feel that calm before we start, because we're going to access the state when we start the art making. So, and while you guys are breathing, I would also like you to try to relax all your facial muscles, because that is directly linked to your parasympathetic nervous system. So it's not just relaxing your shoulders, but relaxing all the muscles around your eyes, your cheekbones, your face, your mouth, down to your neck. Just let gravity pull it down, relax it one by one. And then when you're ready, let's open our eyes again, and we're going to start. So the next step is, I would like you to think about, when we're going to engage and use our pen again, we're going to think about I want you to think about the one challenging state you've experienced this past week, past 7-10 days, the one challenging emotion. And I want you to write that down on that piece of paper, whether it's next to or in front of you, a paper that, and then write that state down in one word. Please feel free also to text us the word, just so I can get a sense, because I can't see you. It would help. Also, if you don't mind, want to share, feel free to text. So that is the one word that reflects the most challenging state you've been through this past week. And then after that, I want you to think of a state from that challenging state that you would have liked to go to. So from a challenging state to your desired state. So great, thank you so much for sharing. I see scatterbrain, frustration, frustrated, and these are your challenging states. Now, if you can calmly think about when that happened, what would you have liked to go to, the state that you would have liked to go to? And write that down. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, if you all have written the 2 words, your challenging state into your desired state, I would like you to now close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you, and again, I want you to access that breathing, that slow breathing state. We're going to try to not let go of that long, slow breathing state all throughout our session. And we're going to increase our awareness. So again, thinking about that challenged state that you had faced this past week, close your eyes, and I want you to think of a color that you see. This is very intuitive, reflexive, just what do you see? The one color. And I would like you to write that color next to your word for the challenging state. And now I want you to, again, okay, don't forget to breathe, continue your breath. And I want you to think of, close your eyes and think of that desired state that you would have want to go to in the future. Whenever you're in your challenge state, you know immediately you're trying to program yourself to go to that desired state. When you close your eyes, thinking of that desired state, that one word you put down, what color do you see? So the color that you see when you think of that desired state, when you see that color, open your eyes, and then I want you to write that color next to your desired state, that one word. If I'm going too fast or too slow, because I can't see you, please text and let me know. I can speed up or I can slow down. So now the fun part. Those of you that have watercolor, so we're going to go, so the idea here is we're going to go from, let me show you the sample. So the idea here is we're going to work diagonally. We're going to pick the color, that color, so the color you picked for your challenge state, to start with the left lower corner, and we're going to paint, color this side, and we're going to gradually, the next step will be on the upper right hand corner. That is going to be the starting color of our desired state. Turn this around. So if you look at the sample, we're going to start with challenge state on this lower left corner, and then to the desired state, that is our upper right hand corner. We're going to start coloring that way. You can do, for those of you using crayons, oil, color pencil, you can do, a complete 2 distinct color, or you can do a gradual change depending on how you feel, what you see. And those of you using watercolor, I will be using watercolor today. So I'm going to do a demo. So those of you using watercolor, and I know we have an acrylic artist as well. So you can, for the acrylics and the pastel and the color, just pick your color and start coloring. Those with the watercolor, wet your paper completely. If you can see, I'm wetting my paper completely. And as you're doing this, I want you to do it with deliberation. And again, don't forget, this is like yoga class. Don't forget to breathe. because we want to engage all of our senses. So here is, I'm wetting my paper quite a bit. And then I am going to pick my challenge, a color that reflects my challenges. And for the watercolor artists, watch, this is very cool. So you pick up a lot of color. So you see the color on my tip, and then you dab it lightly into your water. So the water, that's why you need it to be pretty wet. And you will watch it spread. If not, pick up some more water and dab it some more, and you watch it spread. I don't know if you can see it. And those of you using pastel or acrylic, I would say another idea is to start with a strong color and then slowly work your kind of a lighter range on transitioning into the others to your desired state. Again, I'm picking up more. And what I want you to do is every time you pick up your pen, your crayons, your brush, I want you to do it deliberately. No rush, do it very slow, and all the while check in with your breathing. Those of you using watercolor, pick up more water, and I want you to watch, do it very slowly so you can watch the water spread. Even the acrylic artist, you can pay attention to the spread and the movement of your brush.
And how about for those of those heroes who are using colored pens or crayons?
Yeah, same thing. So what you want to do is you pick up whatever, every time you change a color, you want to be aware of your hands movement, the color, how the color lays out onto the paper. And as you color, I want you to continue your breathing. Always checking in with your breathing. So what you're doing is you are trying to engage all your senses, and you're thinking of your challenge state, and you're telling your brain to experience it, to not run away from it, to experience it, to accept it, to be aware of it. And you know that there's a state that you're going to travel to. So you're going from your challenge state to your desired state. And all the while you're moving your hand, engaging your muscles and your breathing. And this is programming. This is programming your neural system, engaging even your visuals. So I don't know if you guys, I think if you can type in and let me know where you're at, kind of in the initial, this 1/3 stage, or you're moving on to, like here, I'm going to do a transition mood.
You can also at this point snap a photo with your phone and then text it to our number 323-545-3659, and I would love to share it with everybody today.
So again, reminding you to the whole time constantly check in with your breath. Be very aware even of your hand movement, where your hand is in space, where your body is, how it's sitting on your chair. Trying to relax your shoulders and even your facial muscles. Again, just now I was saying that because a lot of times in meditation, guides will say, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, your torso. I always like to stress, relax your facial muscles, because that is directly tied in to your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is something we can do even when we're speaking. We can try to relax when we're eating, relax all the muscles around our eyes, our nose, our mouth. And that is certainly a quick way to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. So here I am, still doing the spread with my color. And those using color pencil, you might go a little slower, but then you can certainly, try to engage the kind of the bigger stroke, if you're using crayons, color pencils. You can do kind of localized coloring or spreading it out fast. Or spreading it out for a background, and then choose your main dominant color and circle it in to emphasize. Now I'm going to slowly work from my challenge state to my desired state. So slowly, I'm trying to picture even more relaxation, slower breathing, reminding myself, my body, my brain, that it is a journey. Some emotions are not comfortable, but they're all there, and we need, because if we shut one off, we might shut all the other ones off. So what we want to do is the journey, is the traveling too. But now we know that we can travel to our desired state. So slowly I am working to my desired state. I am picking up more color, and I am watching, making color, making an image, composing the spread, composing the journey of my emotions, my states, and all the while, don't forget to breathe. And when you breathe, I want you to try to engage your diaphragm, close your mouth, relax all your muscles. Please pay attention to your brush, how you're holding your pen, pencil, crayon, brush, because a lot of times when we are when we're thinking of a less desirable state, we tend to grab onto the pen and the brush very tightly. So what we want to do is try to relax. So even in those of you who are have done painting, in art class, they'll tell you a lot of times it's the grip needs to be loose. So what you're working to move the brush is via your shoulder and your arm. So less on the grip. The grip should be loose.
And then I'm going to dive in here for a second, because we had a hero send in their image so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That is nice. Just now, I also saw strokes that the artist, our hero, was doing. There were straight strokes, and then there were circular strokes. So that's another thing to pay attention to. Thank you so much for sharing. Because then I can get to talk about it, and we can move on to, we can touch on different kind of aspects of art therapy or healing via art, is kind of your strokes also. So if you will notice, when a lot of times what I find what artists do and our heroes is when you're starting with your less desired state, you grip your pen harder, your strokes are kind of more staccato, and tighter. But as you go towards the more desired state, then your strokes, the way you operate, you hold your pen, pencil, crayon, and brush also are different. And they'll change. And again, I'm reminding you again, you're going to keep hearing this like a broken tape recorder, but to come back to your breath, to be aware of your breathing, because you control your breath, you control your states. You can access your autonomic nervous system better. So keep breathing, engage your diaphragm. And so as an artist, this is art talk. So a lot of times you can construct and use up your entire paper space, or you can leave what we call negative space. Some spots you can leave white because they're the neutral grounds, or there are kind of windows to other emotions. But you can certainly also cover your entire paper. That's okay too, if that's what you feel. So you go with how you feel and constantly be checking in, not only your breath, but what is it that I see? How is it that I feel? You can think back to where you were and where you would like to be. So all this engagement with all your senses is in itself already, when you start, it's already healing. So for the watercolor artists, the heroes, can I kind of get a raise hand or indication of some sort if you guys are done with painting your emotions, kind of the background? So I know if we can move on.
We have like 4 or 5 people raising their hands. And then as people are also finishing up, I wanted to quickly share this. We're getting so many images. I'm trying to compile them really quickly.
Okay.
But we have people sending in their progress, which is so
and
cool.
just as a side note for the watercolor heroes, while we are kind of waiting for everyone to come to catch on, you can, if you have some paper or tissue nearby, because we don't have time to wait, so we'll just dab. What I would do is just dab on certain parts that I have a lot of water. And if you dab, actually, if you dab using paper or paper towel or tissue, you're also creating images. And sometimes to some people, I find just this dabbing or removing the paint in itself is kind of healing, is kind of fun too.
Okay.
Here we go.
I wanted to share.
Yes.
So we have one of our heroes sending this in.
Wow. I love that oh, wow, look at that. But look at the spread. Oh, wow, that is so cool. Wow. Wow, I love that. That one's actually, it looks like they've done the last image. It looks like what that hero has also done, I think, multiple copies underneath. That's really cool. So I think we're kind of all have our backgrounds done, our emotions, our general emotions done, the general states on image. And now what I want you to do is, what we're going to do is kind of use our, if you have a Sharpie, a pen, Sharpie is the best, or your micron pens, we're going to start to create an image. Again, I want you to think of kind of that state you were at, that was, your challenging state, and then just do a big broad stroke of sorts. So the emphasis here is on the travel and the acceptance and the awareness, of course. So I'm going from my challenging state, which was frustration for me, and I want to go towards calm. So I'm just doing a kind of a really big broad stroke. It could be circular, it could be straight, it could be, bubbles, it could be anything you want. However you're feeling it, however you're imagining it, picturing it, how you're feeling it, just put it on paper without hold. So this exercise, this process is really important, where we need to remind ourselves there is no judgment, only acceptance. There's no expectation. We're only going with the flow. So this is really important that you remind yourself of. And again, I'm reminding you again to notice your breath, to breathe in and out slowly. Notice where your hands are and notice what you're creating. So one thing I like to do is pattern making in this process, because it's also very healing. And it's just like, how a lot of the centers use coloring to the coloring, how you color is very popular. So color, it's this repeated action using your fingers, your extremities. So the coloring or the pattern making. So this pattern making I'm doing now is kind of like the same thing. So this is repeat pattern. You pick kind of a curve and you just repeat this. I mean, this can be curve too. And what this is interesting is, because of that big stroke you created, or whatever big image you created, what you're doing now is you're working with that stroke, that curve, that bubble, that whatever. You're working with what you have. We're not trying to change it. We are trying to add to it. We're trying to experience it. So whatever curve you have, you work with it. We don't go back. We don't change. We don't scribble off. We go with. And reminding you again to breathe. You're going to get so tired of me saying that. And so these are just repeat patterns. And I want to also share with you that I know people, and I've certainly encouraged this, and for heroes and clients to start even a book, a journal, doing this once a day. The process is so neurologically, what this is doing is, like I said before, programming your brain for calm when you're faced with emotions. And emotions are also colors of the rainbow. You don't want any to go, you want to accept all. And also it is kind of a signature of the day, your journal of the day. You do this day in and day out. And what's very interesting is you do this, and a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm not an artist. Mine is looking like this, looking like that. But after you're done with, and you give it some time, and you come back to your image a day, even weeks later, you're going to look at your own art differently. And that experience in itself is also another journey for learning and programming to be more positive and reminding yourself to breathe. So here I am continuing with the pattern. And I know just for this sake, some people also, you can go out of bounds. Like you're saying, well, I feel, an extension of what I drew and I want to go, please feel free. Extend your mind, extend your feelings, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. because there are no mistakes in art. Every accident leads to some learning, some awareness, something new. So I am just creating different patterns now for you. Again, more patterns. And again, reminding you to don't forget to breathe, and reminding you to not grip your pens too hard. Try to breathe, and every out breath, every exhale, relax a little bit. And just be aware of how the color is touching the paper, how the color is changing the background of your states that we just did earlier with the colors, how your pattern is changing kind of the entire image, how you can make things this way or that way. Be aware of your position, again, of your arm, your hand, even your shoulders in the air, how you're sitting, relaxing your muscles. Always be checking in. So, and I want to check in now with our heroes, where you're at in this progress. If you can snap photos, and then you can finish off the pattern or add to it, finish off after our session. That's great too. So what I like to do is the next step, kind of the final step of this process, is looking at the two words. Remember the one word that was of our challenge state and the one word of the desired state. I want you to write those words. That is the challenge state, the word on the challenged side, and then the desired state, the word for the desired state on your desired side. So where you're traveling to. You can write really big. You can, or you can write really small and hide it somewhere, or make it visible or make it invisible, however you feel, or whatever it is that you see. So I'm going to do that. And if you can snap images of your work, your art, I assure you, so most people that I work with, even if they were critical at all of their work or whatever image they do isn't to their kind of what they had imagined, but they come back to it in an hour the next day. They always love it. They're like, oh wow, like I can't believe I did that. That like it's, you know, it's and the process is calming, and even looking at it, it gives you kind of a sense of satisfaction and joy. So if we can snap photo, if you have anything to any images that's kind of done, can show, and then I can also take some questions.
We're getting a lot of images in, so give me a moment to compile everything.
Okay. So I'm just, if you're waiting.
You can also express how you're feeling by sending into the Zoom chat as well. I always love to hear how people are feeling as we're going through the workshop. Give me one moment.
So kind of the last step of the session is I always like to end if heroes will kind of check in with themselves right now and give me this is not related to any of the words. I know there's a lot of word today, but the one word that is coming to your mind right now, like how do you feel right now? It would be so nice if you can share it and let us know the one word, because I always like to start some of my sessions, the one word to start and then the one word to end. Kind of checking in with yourself, with each other, how what we started with and where you are now. Just be in the habit of checking in with yourself, taking care of yourself, and not be afraid of any state, any emotions, and to accept it, because with challenges we learn the most. So the more challenging, the more we're going to learn, and the more resilient we become. So I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm seeing relax, calm, hopeful. That is the goal. So, and again, I also want to remind you, again, it's the journey. So the reason why art is so fantastic is not only because there's so many mediums, there are also so many ways to share and to express ourselves. So we want to, I love that inflow. So we do want to get into that flow state where our hands, our breathing, our visuals, all that is kind of working together in sync. And this is how we accept ourselves. Oh, wow. Fabulous, fabulous color. Oh, wow. Love the pattern. Love, 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 love. Wow. And I love that big stroke just now from one side to the other. Very explosive, very nice. A lot of pattern.
I also love how individual and unique each one is.
Each one is, exactly. And I think that uniqueness can be applied even to one hero, depending on your, today, tomorrow, morning, night. You will, if you do this, if you start a journal of art journal like this, you will find yourselves there. You will different. So what I'm saying is the way we move doesn't change so much day to day. There's the way one artist moves, they will have a pattern of movement. However, there are minor changes, and the way we pick our colors, even the medium is going to change day to day, even within the day, month to month. So I do encourage you to keep a journal whenever you can. This is so relaxing. You are using what we call the focus brain mode. So the focus brain mode is actually when we get into kind of that alpha state, that state where we are truly experiencing happiness, and that is related to the state of flow. So don't know if anyone has any questions or any comments you want to share of how you experienced.
Yeah, and I want to jump back in and say we have just a couple minutes left. So would love to invite people to ask questions. If you have any questions around art therapy to Jenny, questions about your work just now, if you want to share even more images, please share with us. It's also such good community building as well, to be able to see how all of you are feeling, but not even spoken verbally, but reflected in your art, which I think is a really amazing concept and really beautiful way to, keep in touch with each other. Like we've not seen each other's faces. We don't know each other's story, but then somehow through art, we can see something very deep and intimate about each other, which is really, really wonderful. So last call for any questions you might have. I have a question to kick us off. Jenny, do you have any recommendations? You were saying keep a journal, but I don't really have time to do like watercolor every day. Could I do some form of this with just like a pen or a pencil or something like that?
Yes. So you certainly can. So like, for example, this pattern making, you can just start with an icon one end, icon the other. It could be like a heart, it could be an explosive something going from one emotion to another. And so what this is great is also I always like to do kind of the two word, like one word journal or 2-word journal where you don't have time. So you just kind of want to say, what was my most challenging moment today? What am I most grateful for today? Just 2 words. And then you can draw something quickly and put those 2 words on your journal for the day and put the date, the stamp, and that's it. You're done for the day. And you can keep doing this.
Yeah. And Donna's saying it was beautiful to see everyone's art, people from all over, different ages, different stories, yet we all share color, lines, emotions, and breathing. And I just wanted to call that comment out because it is so important. And I think it's so true. And I recognize a lot of our heroes here today. I know we have folks in their early 20s to folks in their 80s on this workshop today. So a lot of the images you saw was really such like a diversity and range of where we're coming from. And Sherry was asking, where are you located?
Yeah, where I'm in LA. So,
And most of the Flowly team is based in LA, but we have heroes coming in from all over the place. I think earlier I saw someone from in South Carolina right now. Christine's asking, I know we picked the color based on what we were thinking, but should we think about color psychology or deciphering the colors/shapes in any way?
So I would say in the beginning, you know how I said no expectation, no judgment. I wouldn't even think about color psychology because a lot of that isn't color psychology is there is really no standard way because the color of the rainbow runs a huge spectrum. And when you want to do art, you want to just think of what you visualize or see what you see, not expect what you want to see. So I would actually just not think about color theory or anything or psychology, just do what you feel. The awareness is what we're working on.
Donna's saying elementary homeschooled kids. Oh my God, did we have kids doing this with us? That makes me so happy.
Wow, I
know. We have Terry from North Carolina. We have someone from Hungary. Hi. One of the Flowly co-founders is part Hungarian. So very happy to see you. Welcome. Wow. Any last question, folks? Thank you so much for attending. If you want to see more workshops like this, more art-based concepts, let us know so we know to organize more for you. And I just want to say that I always encourage, as many of you know, I'm the founder of Flowly, and I always encourage you to seek out and discover new ways of really expressing and releasing these different emotions and experiences that we go through. And then use Flowly, you know, in VR, the biofeedback as your safe space to shift your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic, but then add on these different complements, right? So usefully as kind of that root, that foundational ritual you go back to every week, but then you have the, you know, all these different other complements that you add to your life and to your ritual that will just bring your body and basically maximize the time you spend in rest, digest, and relaxation mode. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Jenny, for hosting and being such a wonderful leader and guide throughout this experience. Thank you, everybody. I see thank you, guys. I see everybody thanking us, but I see people would enjoy another guided session. So let us know what ideas you have for our next workshop. We're always planning for the next months, right? I'm going to try and do workshop a month, at least 1 or 2 a month. So please give us your ideas and we'll try and put that together for you. And I do want to call out next month, I believe we're doing a stretching workshop, which will be really, really fun, especially for our pain heroes here. Going to design something really nice that you can do at home. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Cheryl's saying best work break ever. Thank you, Jenny. And without further ado, please share your images if you're comfortable on social media.
And I want you guys to keep what you created today in your head. Put this image in front of you so that to remind you, you can always get from whatever challenges you're feeling and facing to that state that you want to get to.
Yeah. And then tag Flowly, official Flowly on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you made today, so that we can see and we can share, because it makes us so happy. So thank you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Bye.
Okay.